Hi everyone, Chris Douglas here from Auto Partnered Solutions. Just talking to you a little bit about ExactLink and giving you a little bit of detail around how it works. We've had a lot of questions coming in from people, especially in the UK where we've launched this service currently. We've even had some questions from people in the US that are interested in how we can help them with manufacturer part numbers and vehicle compatibility and so forth. So let's just run through quickly what ExactLink does, how we help you, I suppose, with your manufacturer part numbers and vehicle compatibility and anything else we may do. So why did we develop ExactLink? How does it work? How do we do what we do? What are the benefits to you? And what do you need to do, if anything at all? So let's talk about manufacturer part numbers, and I'll give you an example here. This is a listing that came into us some time ago from a particular customer. As you can see there's a manufacturer part number there. They've got grade A, which is great. And they've got some more manufacturer part numbers. Altogether, there's 4 part numbers listed. But in fact, for this particular listing, we actually found about 21 manufacturer part numbers that were relevant to this listing. So all the other 17 part numbers that were not listed on this listing, unfortunately, if anyone searched by those part numbers, they wouldn't find this listing. So we've been able to optimize that so that there are now 21 part numbers available and searchable by Google or the eBay system. And therefore, the seller has a much better chance of selling their part because they're going to be found. So that's an example of manufacturer part number. And we've done in the hundreds of thousands of manufacturer part numbers already. We've already updated, our members' files by well over 100,000 part numbers to date in the last couple of months. Let's talk about vehicle compatibility now. So vehicle compatibility is obviously really, really important because that's how, if you set up your vehicle compatibility right on your listings, people looking for parts for their cars, your listings will come up for their vehicle if you've set it up properly. Problem is, if you don't set it up properly and you're either too narrow or non-granular or overly granular on certain ones, then you have issues. So let me give you an example. If you're too granular on a wing or a fender in the US or a wing in the UK or a guard in Australia, if you're too granular on that, people may have a 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, and you've basically said it's only a 2-wheel drive. If they're looking for a 4-wheel drive XYZ model part, it's not going to come up because you've picked a very granular model. What we do is we look at that part type and we go non-granular. So it's the same on a diesel, same on a petrol, same as a 2-wheel drive, same as a 4-wheel drive, many times, not always. But if they are the same, we allow that compatibility table to be really wide and open. On the flip side, if it's a transmission, for example, then we do need to know if it's a 2-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive. We do need to know what engine size it is. We do need to know what fuel type it has, etc. We do need to know what the engine code or transmission code is, because all those things make a difference. If you don't get that right, then what happens is you leave it too open, and people start ordering transmissions that they think is for their vehicle, but it's not. They're not appropriate for their vehicle. So let's talk a little bit about what we've done here with some of the vehicle compatibility. In this scenario here from one of our customers, we've got some brake pads, in fact, and they had 19 vehicles identified as compatible. Once we finished with it, we had found another 32 options available for that listing. So now their parts are searchable by another 32 different model types. And in fact, this particular one had multiple makes and models that were relevant to it. If we look at another example, this here was a gearbox, I believe, and this gearbox had no compatibility. So just simply a listing. And when we finished from a compatibility perspective, we found 23 vehicles that were compatible for that vehicle, so that if anyone searched by any of those makes or models, they would in fact find, or that listing would be available to them to see. So we make it possible for the sellers to actually find more customers, or the customers find more parts. Okay, we also do grading. As I said earlier, we look at grading on parts, and if the grading is wrong, if the mileage is is such that it should be a B grade or an A grade or a C grade, but the system currently has a different grading in it, we will adjust it to meet the VRAC guidelines. Okay, so we'll make sure that you're compliant with those. Likewise, we may see some collision parts or plastics that have got cracks in them but are in as A grade. We'll adjust that and we'll change that to a C grade, or we will send that back to the seller in an email such as this one here. And the seller will then be notified that they need to do something about that listing. In this case here, this is an email that's gone back to this seller who we're blanked off. And basically the listing had an automatic gearbox in the detail, but in fact it was a manual gearbox. So we're just letting them know you need to make some adjustments to that particular listing. Okay, some frequently asked questions. Do you need to be using a specific yard management system? At the minute, we're integrated with, not integrated with Pinnacle, but we can use Pinnacle files. Okay, let's be very clear. We're integrated with eBay, so we've got the API connection with eBay so that we receive the files out of eBay instantly as soon as you upload them, if you're one of our members, that is, and we've engaged the API. And also when we update something, whether it's grading or manufacturer part number or vehicle compatibility, that file will then be pushed back into your live listing. We're working very closely with some Frontier files at the moment. We're hoping that by the start of February, it's currently around mid-January as I'm recording this, but hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we'll be in a position where we'll have Frontier integrated as well, or at least the files from Frontier can be taken and uploaded. We're also working with some independents as well, looking at how we can work with those too. How much does it cost? At the minute, eBay is covering the cost of anything that we're doing, so that's great. Take advantage of it while you can. Of course, they won't be covering it forever and a day. At that point in time, we will come to an agreement on price. We still haven't looked at that. We have been just far too busy developing and updating part numbers and compatibility and grading, but we'll get to that at the right time. You won't really need to do much at all. If you're a Pinnacle user, we ask you for your T4 report and basically your eBay credentials. We get in, we set up the API, we give you your eBay credentials back, and basically you can change your password, then we don't need it any longer. And then everything is fairly well automated, other than the T4 report that we'll be asking for from you on a weekly basis. And you'll get a reminder email every Friday asking you to send that across to us. Grading, as I said earlier, we help you with grading as well. Yes, we update your listings live if we've integrated via API, and it's up to you if you want us to do that or if you want it to be manual. But we, all of our current customers are all, using the API connection. You do not need any special software. Yes, we will continue developing the system. As an example, as I said earlier, we're developing for Frontier files, we're developing for independent files. We're looking at a capability where we'll be optimizing listing titles in an automated way. So if the title comes in and it could be optimized, the system will automatically put it in the best format to meet with the relevant algorithms that sit in the background from a searchability perspective. We're looking at other functions such as pricing recommendation functions that'll look at, historical values of listings and what potentially, that listing should be at for that particular grade or mileage, and how that could affect the price that you should be selling that product for. What results can you expect to see? Well, really, everything happens in the background. You don't see anything per se, over and above the fact that if you look at your listings from that point on, you will see new information sitting on your listings, as you saw in some of the screenshots earlier with the manufacturer part numbers and the vehicle compatibility. But you will get a weekly email like this one here, and this one just went out, I think, last week to a particular customer. And within it, you'll see 2 files, and they're the files that you can, if you're not integrated via API, you can manually upload those files into your eBay listings, live listings, through the eBay hub. And they are the NPN file or NPN and grade. So that or anything that we've updated in the grading and the manufacturer part numbers is in this file. Anything to do with the vehicle compatibility is in this file. If you're integrated via API, you don't have to do anything at all with those. We're just sending them to you on a weekly basis so you know what we've done. You get a summary here that, for example, for this particular customer, we updated 2,621 newly identified NPNs to 1,374 listings. You can see that's about a 2-to-1 ratio for this particular customer for this week, and that's not consistent. It can change, but because we're finding, sometimes there are superseded part numbers that we're updating, so it's not always 1-to-1. It could be multiple part numbers on a particular listing. We made 55 additions or changes to their parts grading so that they can meet the VRAC standards. And we identified 489 new compatible vehicles on 68 particular listings for that particular customer that week. So that's about it from me with regard to ExactLink. If you have any other questions, you can get me at chris@autopartsolutions.com at any time. Happy to get on a video call if you like and work through that. Look forward to hearing from you. And again, thanks very much for listening in, and look forward to hearing from you soon.